In the last video, I got the shells cleaned up. Now it's time to clean up everything else. As usual with me, anything without rust goes in Dawn and water. Anything with rust goes in Evaporust. So the seam was loose on the 12, about halfway up. I was able to actually free the whole seam and pull it back just a little bit, very gently. This wrap is very brittle. And there was also a couple little loose spots here. So now I'm going to take care of those. What I have to do with the seam is clean a little bit of that glue out of there. I can't clean it as thoroughly as I would like because I'm just afraid this wrap is gonna just break. So I just gotta get a good amount of the old glue out of there. I just take a razor blade and scrape it. And I'll come back with some sandpaper. I just got some Fast Bond in a cup and a brush. I'm just sticking a little piece of shim in there to keep them separated while the glue dries. And that's it. Once it's dried up, I'll come back and clamp it. All right, so the glue's dry to the touch, ready to bond it. So clamp that up and let it set overnight. So this is the next morning after I pulled the clamps off the seam. Seam's nice and tight to the shell again, all glued back down. All the little pieces that were loose along the barren edge are now secured. So the wrap is intact on the bass drum. It's just got a couple little areas on the outside edge that the wrap is peeling back. But you can see it just wants to spring back. And there's this here that's a little crumpled up. I got a piece of wax paper and an iron set on low. And I'm just going to try to heat that up a little bit so it sits flat so I can re-glue it. I don't want to get too much outside that little area. I don't want to loosen any glue up or anything. I just want to get that pliable so I can glue it down. Just keep the iron moving. Don't keep it in one spot too long. This works great for seam repairs too, to get the seam to lay flat. It's already looking a lot better. And just be patient. That's a lot better. It feels less brittle. I think that's going to glue down nice. Let's see what we can do with this other section here. I'd rather not cut this out if I don't have to. I think modern Gretsch come with the wrap cut back already, because Gretsch are known for heads fitting really tight. You move your wax paper around, you'll see it gets kind of like it looks wet, and that's when I move the wax paper to a fresh piece. So this just warms it up and gets it pliable again. So I have a shot at gluing it down, because right now it just wouldn't stay. All right. So I'll end up gluing this little piece here. This I may just have to sand off. So almost every set I get is either missing the rubber feet on the floor tom legs or they're worn out. I usually buy them in bulk off of eBay. Unfortunately, the seller I usually get them from kind of disappeared, so I'm going to have to source them somewhere else. They're not exact replacements, but they look good and they're better than nothing. This set was missing the spurs, among many other things. One thing I found doing this set is vintage Gretsch pots aren't always easy to locate and can be pricey when you do find them. I had a couple oddball spurs kicking around, so I just cut them to length and added rubber feet. So the felt for the Pratt muffler on this bass drum was missing. Luckily, I had this one from the other set I have downstairs I'm working on that I can use as a template. I just buy this felt on Amazon by the yard for felt strips, but it also comes in handy for a bunch of other stuff. It's not quite as thick as the old stuff though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to double it up. Just like that, and a new piece of felt for it. Before I show the set as it sits today, I figured I'd pop in this clip just as a reminder to how filthy and disgusting this set was. Neglected for years, if not decades, missing a bunch of parts. These are the restorations I really love, taking something forgotten and neglected and bringing it back to playable condition. So here it is, looking like a drum set again. It's not perfect, but it's way better than it was, that's for sure. So there's nothing I could do about that micro cracking in the wrap. And that little black smudge or whatever it is just didn't want to come off, so it's there. I actually had a 14-inch hoop in my pile. Who knew? So the bass drum, the batter side inlay is new white satin flame. The reso side is the original. It actually matches pretty well. I was able to track down a 20-inch hoop and claws and rods for it, as well as the correct rail mount. What was on it was just a complete abomination. I'll have to pop in a picture of that just for a laugh. So there's some cracks in the wrap on the bass drum, but it's all tight. They're not going anywhere. Some scuffs. This is definitely a 5-footer. It looks great from 5 feet away, and it looks good from up close too. You could pick it apart, but it's got some pitting here and there. But from where it was to where it is now is just night and day, in my opinion. So there's a scuff on the front of the 12 and some cracks, but again, they're all tight. They're not going anywhere. This wrap is just beautiful though. This is the seam on the 12 I fixed. Nice and tight now. Ready for another 60 years of drumming. And some more cracking in the wrap on the 12. The snare was actually the most complete drum and actually in pretty good condition besides some pitting. There's a crack around a lug or two in the wrap. So all the edges on this set were in really good condition and the heads fit good. I didn't really have to fight to get any of them on. There's the bass drum, they're a little tight but not bad. There was one little rough spot on the reso side of the bass drum edge. It's only maybe like 1.5 inches long, and I just left it. My experience, bass drums are pretty forgiving, but the toms and the snare, the edges are in really good condition. So this set's definitely going to be for sale. I'm 6'2", maybe 6'3" when I stand up straight. So these drums just feel really small to me. It's all personal preference and what you like. I'm not a jazz guy. I don't have jazz chops at all. I'll bang on it a little bit so you guys can hear how it sounds. The collector in me really wants to keep this set, being that it's a rare finish and it's a complete progressive jazz setup. But if it's not going to get used, and I don't see myself playing it that much, I just assume pass it on to somebody else, and hopefully it'll go to a good home. Somebody that wanted one of these for years and just have never come across one. So it's going to be rehomed. So I noticed recently I climbed over 1,000 subscribers. I do these videos for fun, and when I started out, I really never thought I'd have 1 subscriber or any views. So I just really appreciate that. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing, all that stuff. It really means a lot to me. And I'll pop in a clip of me banging on them a little bit. And thanks for watching. Take care.